Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from Keone Pearson at 6 weeks out now from the 2024 Mr. Olympia, where he will be attempting to defend his title for the first time ever in the 212 division. And honestly, I think out of all the stories that we'll talk about today, and physique updates or whatever else, this was the one that I was the most impressed by. I think Keone just looks unbelievable here. And I've noticed lately that Keone has posted several updates specifically of his hamstrings, which you'll see in this video. And I do think that's one of the main things when you look at his physique, that he's really noticeably improved. And he didn't say what his body weight was in this video at 6 weeks out, but he looks bigger. And maybe that's an understatement. But I saw the last video that I talked about Keone, whichever video that was, I saw there were several comments of people saying, no, you know, Sean only lost last year because he was just off, and it was more, you know, that Sean just kind of missed the mark, and that's why Keone won. I saw people saying that Sean is going to win his title back. He's the better bodybuilder. That's kind of some of these comments that I've seen. I was kind of surprised by that because I've been so just impressed by what we've seen from Keone lately. And just the very visible improvements that you can see from him, even from his last Olympia appearance. I think, like I said, the hamstrings are probably the most specific thing that you can look at and really see the difference. And look, Sean Clarita was a fantastic, and is a fantastic, 212 competitor. He was a fantastic 212 champion. And obviously, both him and Keone's physiques are two very different physiques. I mean, Sean, I think most people would agree, his strong suit is conditioning. He's also very densely muscled, and I say that in terms of he's got kind of a small frame, so he's really packed on really just about as much muscle as you could possibly put on that frame. And I think, yeah, to some extent, I do agree that if you look at last year's Olympia, I think certainly it was a factor that Sean wasn't as crisp as he was the year prior. He wasn't as sharp. He was a little bit off, but I think it was also that Keone from the last Olympia looked significantly better. And Keone has made some pretty significant jumps as far as Olympia placings and just improving his look on the Olympia stage from year to year. If you look at just last year, the year before he won, 2022, he was 6th, so he went from 6th place at the Olympia to winning the Olympia, which is something you don't see very often in just a 1-year span of time. But I think even more impressive, if you go back a year further in 2021, Keone Pearson was 14th place at the Olympia. So in less than a 3-year span of time, 3 Olympias, he went from 14th to 6th to winning. And I say all that to say, looking at these updates and how crazy impressive Keone is looking, and the noticeable improvements that you can see from Keone, I have a hard time thinking that Keone is not going to win this year as well, unless he's off when it comes to conditioning, because like I said, that's Sean Clarita's strong suit. I think Keone's strong suit is just, he's got a beautiful physique. He's extremely aesthetic, and I'd say his width too, and that kind of is combined with his taper and his aesthetics. But when you're watching this video, I mean, look at the front double bicep pose for Keone Pearson. And even if it's the illusion of width because his waist is so small and his lats flare so wide, it gives him this insane illusion of being bigger and wider than maybe he actually is. But my point is, whatever Keone has been doing, it seems like it's working. It seems like he figured his body out, and he has the formula. It seems like he has the recipe now for what he needs to do. And I think that's evident and proven in what you can see from his physique in these updates. And it's also evident from the data. I mean, look at what I just told you guys. 14th to 6th to 1st. And he's really showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, look at this update. I think this is the best he's ever looked. And even to go a step further, I feel like Keone gets a lot of attention for his physique from the front. Poses, like I said, the front double bicep, the front lat spread, poses that show off that crazy taper. But I was watching this update and I was thinking, man, his back, he doesn't get enough credit for how good his back looks, how dense he looks here from the back. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Keone Pearson will be able to successfully defend and retain his 212 Olympia title this year in 2024? My personal opinion, my prediction, I think Keone will win again and go back-to-back. And hopefully, this is what I really want to see, is Keone eventually decide to make that leap to go to Open. I would love to see, a first call-out at the Open Olympia of like a fully maxed out, no weight limit Keone Pearson with his shape and his structure in a call-out with Derek and Hadi. I mean, dude, I'll just say, I think personally, if I had to pick the best front double bicep of any division right now, 212, classic physique, open bodybuilding, who do I like the best in that pose? I think Keone has one of the best, if not the best, front double bicep of any division right now. And I know he doesn't have the biggest biceps or the craziest arms or, size-wise, he's not going to be the biggest in that pose, but I think just the overall flow of his physique and his shape in that pose is my favorite front double bicep in any division right now. And also, I wanted to congratulate Keone. I saw that he got engaged yesterday, so congrats to both him and his fiancée. Now, next up in the news, good news, if you're a Hadi Choopan fan, Hani Rambod posted not only a physique update from Hadi Choopan at 6 weeks out from the Olympia, but also confirming that Hadi is back here in the States, so it looks like the visa was granted. I know that back at the Arnold Classic, I was watching one of Hani's vlogs talking about some of the difficulties they had with that visa, even for the Arnold. But it looks like he's here. I'm assuming he's going to just stay with Hani from now to the Olympia. But I think it's great news that Hadi is here and seemingly got his visa and can compete. Because as we've learned so far, especially as it pertains to bodybuilding, it seems like the government doesn't particularly view bodybuilding as maybe a deserving sport to be granted a visa, as we've seen with Behruz Tabani, as we've seen with Nathan Diasha, as we've seen even Hadi Choopan, top bodybuilder in the world, still even struggling with it is crazy. And especially now, I mean, it seems like tensions with Iran are at like an all-time high, or at least in recent years, an all-time high. So I think it's certainly safe to say that it was definitely not a guarantee that we were going to be able to see Hadi on the Olympia stage. And we still don't even know if Behruz is going to be able to make it, and probably won't be. But overall, as far as the update goes, nothing really new or super surprising that we're seeing from Hadi in particular here. Striated chest, looks really lean, he's in shape. Pretty much what you'd expect to see from Hadi here. You don't really get to see a whole lot. Now, another update that we got at 6 weeks out from Samson Dauda, a top 3 Olympian. A lot of people have him in their conversation as a future or potentially the next Mr. Olympia. In this update, it really becomes apparent that Samson is trying to prove a point when it comes to his back. This prep in particular, he's been posting a lot of updates like this, specifically showing off the improvements that he's made from the back. And so far, everything that we've seen from Samson in these updates seems to be exactly what we've been telling him we want to see. We want to see him ripped to the bone. We want to see better conditioning. And it seems like he's actually doing that. I mean, 6 weeks out from the Olympia, we haven't seen a whole lot of open bodybuilders posing like this from the back that are top Olympians that have deeply separated hamstrings, striations in the glutes, a lot of detail through the back, but particularly the lower body. We're really not seeing a lot of open guys post these types of posing videos because a lot of them probably don't have striated glutes or don't have deeply separated hamstrings at this point in their prep. So I think it's impressive that Samson is specifically showing that off. I mean, his hamstrings look really good here, and you can even see that little bit of striation towards the bottom of the glutes. It looks like there's a lot more detail in his back, a lot more density in that lower lat area. So I like everything we've been seeing from Samson lately. I still say that I think he's a little bit of a wild card because we don't really know what's going on with his coaching situation. You had the fallout with Milos, Oxygen Gym, all these things that we've rehashed multiple times, but we don't really know for sure what his coaching situation is going to look like because we haven't really seen that play out yet. Like I've said, you know, all his best looks, most of his, I think all of his professional wins were under Milo. So we don't know what a Samson Dauda package looks like without the help of Milo. So in that regard, I think it's a little bit of a wild card. But I will say everything that I've seen from Samson so far, I've been really, really impressed by, and seems to be on track with what everybody wants to see. But I'm going to wrap up the video there, a little bit of a shorter one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification icon if you have not already. Let me know what you guys thought about these stories in the comments down below. Enjoy the rest of your long weekend. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NICKS&P, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.